But this news out of Wuhan gives me hope because it shows that the coronavirus can be beaten. And pretty soon, the people of Wuhan are going to be discriminating against us. We need to shut down our borders to prevent the America virus from coming in. The America virus? Yeah, that's how it works, right? You name it after the way it is because it's not in Wuhan anymore. So, America virus? Yeah?
President Trump, what's going on? Cat got your tongue? You're usually really talkative. You usually have an opinion on everything. How on earth do you not have an opinion on aid to America's cities and states? So my question is, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, are you going to save New York City, or are you telling New York City to drop dead? Which one is it?
The parts of the country that aren't shut down, in late April, we should start to see the numbers peak there. They'll still be too high to open up, so you'll probably have to go another month to really get those numbers down. The sooner you engage in the shutdown, the easier it is to get to that peak. China did their shutdown, and they did it in a very serious way. And the total number of cases there is very, very small. So that's very good news. We'll only have to do it once for 6 to 10 weeks, but we have to do it. It has to be the whole country. The U.S. has passed this opportunity to control without shutdown because there's some maybe a politician who thinks GDP growth is what really counts. It's very hard to tell people that they should go about things knowing that their activity is spreading this disease.
Are you ready? Hospitals can do their own testing also. States can do their own testing. States are supposed to be doing testing. Hospitals are supposed to be doing testing. Do you understand that? We're the federal government. Listen to me. We're the federal government. We're not supposed to stand on street corners doing testing. They go to doctors. They go to hospitals. They go to the state. The state is a more localized government. You have 50 of them.
We're not going to let you destroy this country or our way of life. We've worked too hard and we fought too long to lose it to a Wuhan. That's what I said, a Wuhan virus that China knew about, openly lied about, said it couldn't be transmitted from human to human, and intentionally protected Chinese citizens from the virus, but allowed that virus to be released, putting the rest of the world at risk.
Calling it the Chinese virus, or the Wuhan virus, or the Kung flu. Listen, you may think it's clever, but it's hurting. The idea, well, it did come from China, then why doesn't Fauci and other top health officials, why don't they call it that? You know why? Because it could have come from anywhere, all right? Attacks against the Asian community are on the rise. The president was asked about it. He said this.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
A person at the White House used the term Kung flu. My question is, do you think that's wrong, Kung flu? And do you think using the term Chinese virus, that puts Asian Americans at risk, that people might target them?
No, not at all. I think they probably would agree with it 100%. It comes from China.
No, it's not about where it started, all right? This doesn't help. Calling it a foreign virus. We're all in the fight together. Stop.
Stay home. And to our leaders, we learned, you gotta stay true. Don't promise us false hope. Don't tell us there are solutions when there aren't. We are the solution, but we can also be the cause of more pain. That goes for the president, too. Take a look at his briefing notes, okay? Look what he did. He didn't touch anything on the page that I'm sure somebody else wrote, except to change corona in virus to Chinese. His job is to reassure us, okay? To let us know that we'll get through this. The word coronavirus crossed out and changed to Chinese, who does that help? We don't need an enemy. We have one, the virus. Trump doesn't dislide blame. We know how we got here. This isn't about China. It's about us. We are the solution. We must be together. Thank you for watching.
Now, for all those looking to blame China, it's worth looking into their vast global efforts to stem the pandemic, donating test kits to Cambodia and plane loads of masks and ventilators to France and Italy, along with medical teams. They've pledged to help the Philippines, Spain, and other countries. Chinese doctors are on their way to Iraq and Iran. President Xi called it a health Silk Road, pledging to get assistance where it's needed planet-wide. Look at America's response overseas. Take a look at Iran. Iran is one of the countries that is worst hit, with its health services dangerously overloaded. Officials are saying that millions could die, but yet Iran is being hit with more U.S. sanctions. State the obvious, the virus does not discriminate. We're all in this together. So why would anyone want to inflame international tensions or inflict economic damage to nations at a time like this?
Today, 300 new ventilators arrived from China. I'd like to thank the Chinese government for their support in securing that capacity.
So we can compare the sequences from the New Yorkers we analyzed with the sequences deposited in a database from all the worldwide analyzed coronaviruses, and we can compare based on those mutations in the viruses. And we noticed, to our surprise, that many of the viruses in New York City resembled the viruses found in Europe.
Governor Cuomo is saying that New York may be days away from running out of ventilators. Can you assure New York that going into next week that they're going to have the ventilators that they're going to need?
No, they should have had more ventilators at the time. They should have had more ventilators. They were totally underserviced.
A location in the network, which we've called type A, is the original type that would have infected humans.
Okay.
And then it mutated and changed into a type B. This type B was then the first genome to be picked up in Wuhan when the disease became apparent. Researchers might be forgiven for thinking at the time that B is the original type, but actually it's not. It's type A, which in Wuhan is only.
Trust us, the worst is yet ahead of us. Let's prevent this tragedy. It's a virus that many people still don't understand.
The critics are in the same situation that China was in just a month ago. It seems like they weren't creative enough to come up with their own solutions. Drones, soldiers, lockdowns. Whenever communist China does it, the Western media loves to call it all authoritarianism. But what even makes these measures democratic or not? At a time of crisis, shouldn't people be focusing on which measures are the most effective?